Hello and welcome to the freebets.com Premier League preview for Sunday the 17th of August and Monday the 18th. Three big games, starting of course with Liverpool versus Southampton. Now a summer of contrasts at both grounds, you have to say. Plenty of ins at Anfield, plenty of outs at St Mary's. How do you read this one?
It's going to be a very difficult game for Southampton. I know we went there last season and actually nicked a 1-0 win off them and played very well that day, and Dejan Lovren got the winning goal. Sadly he's going to be on the other side this time with a couple of our other players. So it's going to be a much tougher proposition than probably last year. Liverpool have strengthened, spent a lot of money this summer, and they had to, being in the Champions League. It's going to be a lot tougher on their squad this year, but having lost Luis Suarez, that's going to obviously set them back a little bit. As much as I love Southampton, I'm really struggling to see us getting anything from this game, unfortunately.
What do you think of the new manager at St Mary's?
Ronald Koeman, I think, a great fella. Actually met him earlier on this week and had a chat with him at the training ground. Came across really well. Was a little bit of an old school type manager, but obviously he's having to adapt to the new methods and the new ways as well. And he's got all the tools to do that at Southampton. He's got a fantastic training ground up there, real state of the art stuff. So he's got all the bits in the locker to try and help him out. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that he can gel the team together pretty quickly, because obviously there's been a lot of changes at the football club this summer. We need those new players that have come in to settle pretty quickly and then get into some kind of shape and some kind of pattern in the team, and get ourselves off to a decent start. I mean, this is a tough start at Liverpool. The next 5 or 6 games after that have been a bit kinder to us, so hopefully we can get off to a decent start in the first few weeks.
You talk about departures at St Mary's, obviously one that you alluded to at Anfield, particularly significant for Liverpool, and to many respects the bookies have written Liverpool off. Second and only just second last year. No Suarez, chances have gone apparently.
Well, yeah, I must admit, when I was choosing and looking at the table and thinking that, you know, there's 5 teams there that really think that they're going to get in the top 4. So there's going to be one big name that misses out. Having gone so close last season, I did think the loss of Suarez was going to be a huge blow, and that might just stop them from getting in the top 4 again this season. And I think they were you know, 5th favourites for the title, which tells you what all the bookies think about their chances. But I'm sure the Liverpool fans, the Liverpool players, and Brendan Rodgers won't be taking any notice of that. They'll be going all out. I think a lot of people think that the Champions League campaign might just take their eye off the ball a little bit for the Premier League too.
And speaking of teams that are going to be up in that top 4, of course, Man City kick off at 4 o'clock on Sunday against Newcastle at St James's. 4-6, you can get about the Citizens. 9-2, the home side. The draw 3-1. Poor start for City in the Charity Shield of the week, but some big signings. Mangala amongst them.
Yeah,
there or thereabouts.
Oh, I think you'd be foolish to think that Man City weren't going to be making a better fist of their defence of the title than they did last time. I mean, they gave it up pretty weakly. You know, after winning it the first time, I think this time around will be a little bit different. I think they'll learn from that experience. They have strengthened again, and you know, it's a pretty formidable squad they've got there. Newcastle have obviously made a lot of changes as well, brought in a lot of players. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Alan Pardew can get those players settled in and gelled into a team. This is a tough fixture for Newcastle to start off of, and I fully expect to see Manchester City start the season with a win.
Yeah, a lot of changes, as you say, at St James, but they needed to because they struggled badly in the second half of last season. When I'm having a bet on the start of a new season, I always look at the form that teams go in from the previous season. Never a good sign.
No, that was I mean, that was a huge blow for them last season, losing Kabay in January, and they just seemed to fall apart from there on in. It was a massive struggle afterwards. I mean, they did, in the end, you know, finish fairly comfortably. But if that form in that second half of the season transfers to the first half of this season, that's a long season ahead for the Newcastle fans. Yeah.
Speaking of long seasons, welcome to the Premier League Burnley Football Club. 9-1 in their first game against Chelsea, many people's champions-elect. 4-11 you can get about the Blues. 9-1, biggest price on the coupon of the weekend for Burnley. The draw 7-2, maybe I'm being unfair, but they do look a bit light.
They do look a little bit light. You know, the players that they bought in haven't really excited me. That made me think that they've got enough there to stay up this season. But stranger things have happened. You know, I remember Burnley's first game back in the Premier League in 2010. I think it was their first home game was against Manchester United, and Sir Alex put out a slightly weakened team, and Burnley turned them over that night. So stranger things have happened. Although I can't see Mourinho making the same mistake of taking Burnley too lightly, and he'll want to get off to a flying start. And this is a pretty good fixture to do that, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Diego Costa, of course, is in for Chelsea, as indeed is a familiar face in Didier Drogba. They've strengthened up front, they've strengthened in midfield, with Fabregas, of course. They should be okay in this one. What about their prospects for the league?
I think, for me, I think it will be very tight between them and Manchester City. I think that's the 1 and 2 for me, and I think City may just cling on from Chelsea. That's what I'm going to go for this year, I think.
There you go, that's Matt's tip for the title. That's Sunday and Monday. If you're looking for a bet, of course, don't forget to go to www.freebets.com, where you'll get all the best bookies offers and tips for the weekend. Have a good one.